Here we are. Yeah, baby. And let me boot up the stream. Oh yeah. Zhirp. Boom bop. Pow. Here we go. It's midnight. It's not midnight, man. It's 4 p.m. It's 4 p.m. Okay? I'm finally on time. I'm finally like not 30, 40 seconds late. I'm actually on time this day. So, it is Halloween. People are complaining that I'm not going to do anything Halloween. I don't think I'm going to do anything Halloween related. But if somebody decides, oh, I have a cool idea, I am going to suggest this little thing to add. And it's tiny, and I think I can add it just today. And it's Halloween related, sure, I'll add it. Where's the Halloween costume? I've dressed up as a ginger for Halloween. You just got off work. Hell yeah. Like, wait, now? You just got off at 4 p.m. Like, you have a 4 o'clock finish aspect? What? Or like 3:30 finish. I don't know. Anyway. We boot up the game. Let me remember what we've got. Okay. We've got stuff that moves. Got all this. What I should probably add now. Well, okay, what we've got, where we want to get to is we want to get to a thing. We have. I'm trying to visualize in my head what needs to be added next, right? Because there's a state I want the game to be in, and there's a state it's in now. And I need to lay out a little road to get there. Because where I want it to be is basically what it is, but just with a bunch more stuff in there, right? Thank you, Noji. It's a Sure Beta 57A, yeah. And I really want this. Yeah, I think. Actually, you know what? I feel like we want to iron out a roadmap. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Just get up Notepad. So, features we need. Just basic text file features we need. Okay. First we dev, then we game, then we game. Ah! Okay. Let me pop the chair back a touch because this is a little uncomfortable. Okay. It's really hot in here, but I don't want to open the window because don't open the window. Whatever. Okay. Features we need. Okay. Features we need to add. Initiate combat. Menu. Combat. Fail state. I think that's it. Enemy AI. Here's what I'm thinking. The state I described last stream, where we sort of have that thing where you walk around, you can look around the map at the moment. You can walk around and enemies move. Right. What I want is enemies. We'll just have one enemy for now. We're going to stick with the little skeleton. And then we're gonna stick with this guy. That's all he does. And then all it's going to do is just move towards us. It's going to move toward us every turn. And actually that. Okay, it's going to move towards us every turn. I feel like if you move into it, right, it could initiate combat. But I kind of want to have. What I want to do, rather than have you move into it, I had the thought, you have a button. So you hit space. So you hit space. That I forgot about that hotkey. So if you hit spacebar, it'll open up a little GUI of every space next to you, and then you can pick the direction. Right? You can select one. But I think because that way suddenly you can have a little cursor you move around with the. So if you press that right now, the arrow keys. Right now it's WASD and the arrow keys. That's all you have. You move the camera or you move the character. I think if you have it so you press a button and the camera turns into a cursor, right? You have a little flashing icon and you can select stuff on the map. I think I'm going to make that cursor. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these two map collisions is for enemy AI, for the path finding they have to move towards you, we're going to need to have collisions already set up so they can't move into things. Or we need to have... I might as well just add stuff that you can't move into, because there's going to be stuff that the enemy can't... It's never going to try to move into a thing it knows it can't. Right. It doesn't need to actually be able to collide with objects, so we never have to run any collision checks, because it's never going to move into those positions anyway. It's going to check, is this position filled? And if it is, it's going to pick a different spot, right? But first, I'll just add collision so I can't move into this wall. And I'm going to add the cursor. I think first thing we'll do a cursor today. We'll do that, right? Because that's going to be a little more complicated. And I know the other thing's going to be simple, basic, baby, easy. I don't know what this region ends. Is this the region movement? Okay, it does. That's the region movement. So movement, don't need it. Debug, VK space, out of here. Out of here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we take... Checking for filled positions as a collision check. So the way GameMaker runs collision checks, if I do... collision point command, right? If I bring over the manual, the GameMaker manual, right? What GameMaker has a specific collision function. So if you run a command of like check collision point, right? It'll run the hitbox of two things and check if they are together, right? All I'm going to do is everything is on a grid, so everything is in a position like one through whatever. All I have to do, let me delete that so it runs. All I have to do is check, is there something, like if you want to move left, you move 64 pixels left. All you have to do is check, is there anything 64 like at the position, because everything has the same origin position. You have to check if there's a hitbox there. You have to check if there's something on that tile, right? So you just check the actual point, not the hitbox. So it never has to run hitbox code. It never has to actually check, is there a hitbox here? Never have to use hitboxes, just the positions of things themselves, because they would all have the exact same position, right? If I get this back up. So let's do cursor. So, debug out of there. Pop it in here. Debug can be at the end. Okay. So, give myself a few lines to work with. Now, I need to imagine how I'm going to do it. You press space. If keyboard check pressed VK space. If you press space, what's it going to do? Okay, we're going to have a variable because right now the camera movement me do this. Cool. So player movement, close camera movement. Right now, it's just this on its own, right? I can pop all this. I can nest all of it because I love nesting. We're going to change the camera movement. We're going to have, if we do this, we set, okay, cursor equals 0 to start with. We just have no cursor, okay? Cursor equals if, I'm just going to do the most basic baby code. It's great. I love writing stupid code. You know what? I'm not even going to do... Dude, I ain't even doing an if else. I'm just doing 2 ifs. Brilliant code. Brilliant. Ah! I love it. Okay, if cursor equals 1. Cursor equals 0. Bam. Cursor equals 0. Cursor equals 1. This is the most incredible code ever written. This is, I'm a genius. I'm insane. This is genuinely insane code, actually. This is terrible. Okay. But it works. It does exactly what I expect it to do. That's what matters. This game is not going to be nearly complex enough to need any kind of performance, and no one else is ever going to read it, and I'm never going to touch this again. So, it doesn't have to look good or actually be readable or nice or sane. So, if we press space, it's going to set cursor to 1 and 0. Debug, I'm also going to... show debug message, and it's going to be cursor. Valid format. Now, I'm going to check. I don't know if this prints... Okay, it does. If I press space, now it's 1. Space again. Space. If cursor equals 0, cursor equals 1. Cursor 1 equals 0. If I enter... So why is that? If cursor equals 1 and I press space... That's why. Okay. It's doing that one after the other. So if it's then... Okay, I do have to write else then. Damn it. I was hoping to write stupid code, but the deliberately stupid code did not work. Enter. Okay, cool. That does it. So. False. Exclamation mark. Wait. I'm going to write even worse. Oh, actually, you know what? That's technically better code because now it's catching other cases. But now it's funnier because it's more complicated. Okay. And it doesn't need to be. So now I can set that. Now cursor, we're going to lock the camera movement inside another nest. Oh yeah, baby. So everything here is going to rely on an if cursor equals 0, bank, and then tab it all out and close it off. I love nesting so much. Okay. Now, we can move the camera. Now I can't move it. Now I can move it again. Awesome. Now, if cursor equals 1, we do this. Region cursor. Now, if cursor equals 1, bam. Now we're going to have this keyboard checks again. Keyboard check pressed. What is that? Oh, that's it. If keyboard. VK up. Hell yeah. Awesome. So we go up, left, down, right is how I like to do it because it's WASD. Works in my head. Okay. Is there a way to multi-select to tab multiple lines? I think you can. I think if you... I know it works in some... Yeah, okay. Okay, I had no idea if it works in Game Maker Studio 2. And I was literally thinking about doing it as you... as I was doing it, I'm like, whatever. Okay. So you literally just select the region and you press tab and it'll tab out the whole thing. But we're all about inefficiency for the sake of efficiency here, okay? We're all about doing things the bad way deliberately, because if you're a perfectionist, right, you see this and you go, I need to make it better. I need to fix it. But there's nothing wrong with it. It works. Why are you trying to fix stuff that works when you're doing a big project like a game or something? Don't worry about making things perfect. Just make them. Don't even go, make it exist now so you can make it good later. Don't make it good later. Make it exist, and that's all it needs to do. If it exists, boom. Hair and turtle programming. Yeah, I am hair programming, and I got a little Italian in me. I love me a bit of spaghetti. When you're trying to make, if you're trying to make a different kind of pasta and you keep ending up with spaghetti, just start deliberately making spaghetti, man. Like, it's counterintuitive. Right, why are you trying to do something when if you end up making something every time you do it, just make that thing deliberately. Cursor 1, okay, so if we go up, first we're going to have to make a cursor thing. So I'm going to make a cursor sprite SBR cursor. We're going to edit the image, 64 by 64. We take the, okay, grid we're going to have to do by the, mamma mia. Select, copy brush, boom. And then snap to grid. Awesome. Okay. What if I do this? I like that more, yeah. No, I need to grab the right color though. So I need to open up Sprite Palette. Edit image. Select this little bit. Copy. Okay. And then this is O for color picker. Unsnap to grid. I need to take this guy. Now. Unpaste that. Paint bucket is not P. Is it B for bucket? No, that's B for brush. F for fill tool. I fill in these with our actual thing. Brilliant. This very extremely slightly off-white that you can't even tell is off-white. So, close palette down. I don't need that. And then now... Sprite cursor's done. Cool. Close it. Make an object cursor. Object cursor. I don't think I need an object, actually. No, it'll be simpler with it. Whatever, it's simpler. Okay. So, I don't actually need this code in the player. For the movement, I can delete that. I'm going to go, if cursor equals 1, yeah, hell. We check if instance exists. So if no instance exists of it, make one. Does not equal. If what does this return? syntax returns, checks the existence. If instance exists, yeah, I'm doing it right. Why is it red? Why are you red? No instance exists. Obj cursor. Now it's not red. Okay, I don't get it. Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Okay. Always, if no instance exists of object cursor, we create a cursor. Instance, create layer. X, just at the player. Layer ID or name. Instances. Object is obj cursor. That's all. Boom. Yeah, chill. I don't think we don't need to store the instance ID as a variable because we don't need to reference that we don't need to reference that in the player object's code now. So I can just go object cursor, drag on the boom. I need to add a create event and a step event. Make it big. Lovely. Okay. Don't need sprite skeleton. Don't need the room. Okay. You know what I want to do actually? If the cursor is that shape, you're completely unfamiliar with GameMaker, is it any good? GameMaker is one of my favorite game engines ever. It is blindingly simple. It has its own coding language. So GameMaker language is really, really simple to learn. But like GameMaker Studio, GameMaker is really good at making 2D games. It can't do 3D. There's a lot of stuff it can't do, but it's extremely powerful for anything 2D, basically. I think nothing you could want to do with it that it can't really do. It exports to a bunch of different things. You can do it to HTML. You can do it to any console, I think. If I go target, you can do it to Windows, to Mac, Ubuntu, HTML, Android, iOS, to tvOS, to PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One and Series XS, and to Switch. You can target anything you want. You can port it to any modern console. And it's because it's such a simple coding language, and because the interface and the way it sort of structures itself is so simple, I think if you want really, really technologically advanced, like super well-running games, like if you have like Noita or like a real-time strategy that you need tens of thousands of like of things running at once, if you need something like Project Zomboid, where you really need tech on your side at really powerful control over it, GameMaker's not it. But if you want any kind of simple 2D game where you don't need like crazy customization, more crazy access to like exactly what the computer's doing, right? GameMaker's perfect. Risk of Rain 1 was made in GameMaker, and I feel like that game couldn't have existed without it because it's just so quick to iterate in GameMaker, right? I know they have on their website actually a bunch of made with GameMaker. They have like a little thing showing off what games have been made with it, and there's so many in here that you would know, right? Hyperlight Drifter is probably the only one on here that I know. Besides, I've seen Fields of Mystery, but I don't know about it. Katana Zero's massive. Uber Cat Overdrive looks like a 3D game made in it, which is possible, but it's just a pain to do. You could just do it in Godot or like Unity. Don't use Unity, use Godot actually. This is showing a ton of random games I haven't heard of, but I know there's a lot. Like Undertale was made in GameMaker, which works because Toby Fox has no idea how to do coding, but he could pull it off in GameMaker because you can do it. It opens the door to a lot of people who aren't necessarily that good at code and a lot of other things to do it. And not by dumbing it down, just by making it very accessible, right? It doesn't launch a ton of stuff at you. Why is there so few games? Normally, last few times I've jumped on here, there are so many massive games that I see in like the Made with Game Maker thing. And and now it's never heard of nothing. Okay, 15 best games made with Game Maker, formerly Game Maker Studio 2. Forager was made, Rivals of Aether, Nuclear Throne, Hotline Miami. Hotline Miami was a Game Maker game. An interesting one, Hyperlight Drifter again, Katana Zero, Undertale, Risk of Rain. The interesting thing about Rivals of Aether, the reason Rivals of Aether has such a thriving mod community is because it's made with Game Maker, and you can make mods for it in Game Maker. You can make your own characters for the game with Game Maker, like in the engine. And because it's such a simple engine to learn, it's really easy to do it. It's great. Now, what was I doing? I was doing the cursor. Object cursor. The thing I want to do is... Okay. Going to make a variable called flash timer equals 0. Now, flash timer plus plus. That's going to add 1 to flash timer every frame. Flash timer equals 60 if flash timer equals... if image alpha equals 1, else equals 1, image alpha equals 0. This should... Good seeing you. Got to run along to bed. See you later. Thank you, Ninja, for showing up, man. Good to see you. Very good to see you, my friend. Okay. So what we're doing here is we're counting up this every frame when it hits 60. So every second, it's going to run this. It's going to check, am I visible? If yes, be invisible. If I'm not visible, become visible. So it should flash as soon as it appears. Actually, if I think about it, that should literally be it. So if I hit space... Yep, every second it does that. Now, why do you... appear and then not appear? If image alpha is 1... If image alpha isn't 1... Oh, that's it. I need to set the flash time back to 0. Okay, flash timer equals 0. Boom. Goes up. Sweet. I want it to flash a little bit quicker, so I'm going to go half a second instead. Hey. Hey. Okay. If it is 30, so it's going to complete a flash every second. Okay. Now, the object player, what we do is, if it doesn't exist, if cursor equals 1, actually, what do we do? I can just put this code in here, delete all this. Cursor, if keyboard press space, instance destroy PG cursor, lovely. So if I move down here, we've got a cursor. Doesn't do anything, it flashes. If I press space again, it goes and I can move again. Okay, cool. Very cool. Now, I'm going to make the cursor movable. So all I go in here, step I co if keyboard check pressed, VK up, and then boom, and we take, same as we always do, copy that, paste, paste, paste. And right, down, left. Let me go fix that typo. GH, yes. And then same as the player, hell yeah. I'm just going to move it directly. So y plus up means y minus equals 6 fold. Cruising down the street in my 6 fold. Left equals minus 64 down. Y plus equals 64. And right x plus equals 64. So if I run that now, you know what I should do? I'm going to make it so as soon as you move it, it's going to set the image alpha to 1. So it's going to be visible the moment you move it as well. I think that's important because I'm moving it and I'm not seeing it. So it's flashing while... Here's the thing. So you can move it, always visible, and then starts flashing. That's great. I really like that. Nice little accessibility thing, little quality of life. It's all, if you're moving it, it's not going to be flashing and visible. You can zip it around the screen, right? Boom. Cool. Now, what I want to do is when it's on a wall, you cannot see it. Meaning I should make it very distinctly visible. So we're going to go back to the cursor. Edit image. We have got a palette here. I'm going to grab this color. And brush. Nope. Oopsie daisy. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Brush. If I do this. So if I drag this guy around like this, and make every side around here. Could be using the line tool actually, that'd make it easier. Line root. Yep, this way. Coolio and okay, that makes it quicker. Cool. Cool. Boom boom boom. Sweet. Now I'm hoping that will be a little bit more visible. No, that's 1 pixel. We need... Whoa. We need to go full sized. Whoa. Oh, that's neat. No, I need this. Shadow? What do you mean shadow? What? Wait. Oh, that's very important. This needs to be actually higher up than everything else. Right now it's below things. Instances, we're going to make UI. Wait. I know what to do. Forget it. Object cursor. This is even better. I don't need to add a new layer. I can make it even simpler. I can do in the draw GUI command. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Can we take this in here? Sprite cursor, object cursor. Cool. Draw self. Rip. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, baby. I feel like it's still going to be... Anyway, so what I did there, draw self in the GUI. So Game Maker, cool thing, add event. The step command is and the create command are what I've been using. Create runs all the code in there when the thing's created. Runs it once. Step, it runs that every frame. Now, draw, this is run every frame as well. Every single thing automatically runs the command draw self. It paints them. They paint themselves onto the screen every frame, right? That's what makes them visible. Now, draw GUI is a command that's run after draw. So everything does their draw, they run that code, and then everything runs draw GUI if they have it. Which means it's all drawn on top, because it draws everything under it, and then it draws this over the top of that. Very cool. Meaning I could put it onto a layer, meaning it's like above everything else, but I can just do that. And then no matter what layer it's on, physically, I don't have to create a second layer because I can just draw this on top of everything else. What am I doing? I have got to... I'm trying to remember what I got to do. From here, I made the cursor. This, yeah, I don't like that it looks like this. I think we go back to low spec, right? We're using a different palette. New palette. I need 8 colors. 8 colors exactly. Okay? Because I need... Here's what I'm thinking, right? I cannot have this... I need the cursor to stand out above everything. I need a color that is only used in the GUI. And I feel like white only used in the GUI be cool. Wait, what if I don't use a different color palette? I make everything here... I know what I'm doing. I got 4 colors. I got background. I got tiles. I got moving things, and I got GUI. Simple, basically this. Okay. Edit this image. Edit this image. Edit this image. And... this image. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3. These are the only sprites in the game. Cursor. Okay. Bulb. Now I want to... import colors from... What if I do this? How do I use this color thing? Because I want to have the colors in the palette just set. I can just always have them available. Wait a second. If I go here, texture settings, no. No, okay. Because I'm going to do this for every single sprite in the game. I want it to be simple. I don't want to have to manually go and do all this stuff every time. Let me look it up. How to set a palette. Game Maker. Simple as. Basics of palette swapping in Game Maker. No. Shader and texture. That's what we had last time in image editor. Game Maker image editor. How to set a palette. How to use the image editor in Game Maker. Cool. Zoop, image looks like this. Creating an image. Don't care, don't care, don't care. Drawing, don't care. Custom brushes, I know those. Colors. Color picker tool. Happy, click OK to save it as part of color swatches. Ooh. Swatches. So if I double click this. Store color in. Oh, okay. Let's do this. Color, boom. So now I am going to pick that color. Nope, remove from the grid. Pick that. Now this here, store color. This here, store color. This here, store color. And this here, store color. Okay, custom colors. So, you can how do I then store these colors? I hit OK. What are we? Hey? If I do this, I've got them in here. Whatever, that's close enough. So these guys are going to be this. Cursor gets to stay this. Skeleton is going to be that as well. Boom, 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 boom. And the square is also going to be that color. So paint that. The cursor is this. So now if I go in here, I don't like it that much. I don't like how the colors, but you know what? This is fine because it's just the test thing. You can see the cursor now properly. That's all that really matters. That's all that really matters. One thing I do want to check is out of bounds as well. I don't like how this looks, but I can change it later. I've decided now I'm going to be changing it later. I want to check. Okay, so before we move, we're going to check. Okay. First, let's take all this, tab it out one, pop an if in there, and just yoink. So, if y does not equal 0. Actually, no, so when it would be at the very top, we don't want it to, see, it would be 64. If y is... Yeah, if y does not equal 64. Cool. Go up. Minus 64. We grab this. Okay, let's do the same thing. Tab all that. Fly one of these in. If x does not equal 64. Awesome. Now it's a little more complicated. So if y does not equal, then we need to have a little thing here. And then I can do this. I can just, yeah, this is simpler anyway. Okay. Okay. I want to check if we're at the bottom of the screen. So if our y does not equal room height minus 64. I think that should do it. And that's as much as it is. Then the width should be the same if x does not equal room width minus 64. I think that's enough. I'm just thinking in my head, that should go through. The only thing that it might be, yeah, the actual positioning of the thing itself. Okay. Okay, let's move ourselves down a bit. Okay. I just want to get into the very bottom so I can move all the way to the right. And I want to look at it in the bottom right corner as well. So I've hit space, moving the cursor all the way over here. Okay, so we're down here. First up, why are we drawing below this thing? That's annoying. Then I cannot go less than that. But if I start up, I cannot go there. So what's the origin position of this thing? Origin position is top left. That's it. That's why. Okay. So we can go to 0. If y is 0 and if x is 0, save. Okay, so you can go anywhere. I also don't want it to leave the screen, actually. So I don't want it to leave the visible area. So, if that, and a secret second thing. So, we can move up. So before we move up, we're going to check this. If we're not above the... If we're within the borders of the room, and y does not equal... You know, I'm going to get cam pause. Get... What's the thing we've got in the camera movement? I'll just copy these. Don't mind if I do. Cam X and Cam Y. I'm going to get the view of the camera. Cam is defined in the create thing. I'm just going to do the same here. Cool. So, if y does not equal cam y. Awesome. So, got that. And I'm going to put it in here as well. I'll grab this one, Control C, Control V. Lovely. I'm taking this code. We're going to check the position of the camera. So then X does not equal cam X. Boom. Then I also have to check one more thing. In these, it's a little more complicated. So, if we're within that, then I also have to check to get whether it's in the boundaries of there. I have to go if y does not equal room height times 64, and also get camera width. Camera get view width. Boom. Okay. var cam width cam w equals camera get view width cam boom y does not equal underscore cam w minus 64. Cool. So then I can do the same for... No. I need the height here. Camera height, cool. Copy this line, paste it in here, and then change it back to width. And x does not equal cam width minus 6 fol. Cruising down the street in my 6 fol. And cool, we go up, cannot go down, cannot go more down. Brilliant. Simply brilliant. Simply delicious. Okay. And then if we do this, oh, then we need to kill it as well. Okay, so when are we killing it? We're obviously killing it a bit too late. Cursor. When I press space, checks. There is no. If there's no cursor, wait, am I doing that in the right one? Oh. Wait, actually, no, that's right. If there's no cursor, I got to make this readable again. I did this. I've soiled myself with it. If there is a cursor, set it to 0. Destroy the cursor. Otherwise, set it to 1 and create one. So why is there 2 being made? I do that. I move. Now, are there 2? You know what? I need to take one more debug function. Var debug test. No, just debug one. Equals instance count. What's this? Count of all active instances that are in the room. No, I want instances of a certain object. Okay, instant position, instances, objects. Game maker, how to check count of instance. Instance number. How many active instances of the specified object exists within the room? Coolio. So, in that case, instance number object cursor. What I'm doing this for, show debug message. So debug one. Cool. When I hit enter, it's going to show me how many cursor objects are in the room. 0. There is still 1, which means I'm correct in my guess. I've guessed correctly. There's only 1 of these things in the room. But it's drawing itself twice, which I suspect is because I've gone to draw GUI, I've gone draw self. Right. I suspect all I have to do to fix this is if I go object cursor, I add a draw event. And it's done. It's fixed. What that was doing was it was drawing itself in the draw event and then drawing itself in the draw GUI as well. So what I need to fix here is it should be drawing itself where the player is, but instead it's drawing the player relative to the start of the thing, and then putting itself within the camera's POV. Because it's in a draw GUI, it's drawing that. Ah, okay. So I think I will just do draw self in the draw event, actually. In that case, I'll need to put it on another layer in the room. I didn't know that it worked that way. That's cool to see. So instances 1. I'm just going to make called cursor. And then it creates it in the layer called cursor. What I've just found out is what it's doing is it's drawing itself at the position that it is in the room, right? So it says, oh, my position is 128 and 256. X is that, Y is that. But the position it's getting is its position in the room. So it's getting from the very top left of the room itself. And then it's drawing that relative to the camera. So say the camera is 64 to the right from the center of the room, from the origin point of the room, it means it's drawing it 64 to the right of where it should be. So now, it should always be on the player. Okay. Now I need to check to create the cursor. I don't like being able to create the cursor while the player's not visible. So I do want to be able to view the entire room. I like being able to go past where the player is. So what I'm going to do is when I do this, before we run any of this, okay, and cool, tab all that. And now we're going to check if the player is visible in the camera. And only if the player is visible on the screen are we going to do any of the cursor stuff. So if that way, you can only check information of things, because you can maybe use the cursor to check information stuff. You can only check information of things that you're close enough to. So you can see that stuff exists, but because you can't move the cursor farther than the player, you can't just go hunting and seeing all this. And by creating the game, it designs itself. Simple. It's brilliant. You don't have to design games, you just have to make them. You start building them and they become things. Okay. VK space. If I'm going to check the X position and check Y position. Okay, so X is greater than, you know what, actually, I'm going to do, and X is okay. X is less, S is less than, S is greater than. Now I'm going to do this again. And this. So Y is less than, and Y is greater than. So got the camera here. I'm going to grab the code to check the camera's position. I'm going to pop it in here. So if X is less than, I need to get the camera's width and height as well. Wait. Var cam W equals camera get view width. Boom. And then just cam. Cool. And then var cam h equals camera get view height. Cam. Cool. So now, if x is less than, so for the cursor, if we're, as long as we're greater than the camera's x position, we're fine. Y, as long as we're greater than the camera's y position, we're fine. But we have to be less than the position plus the width or height minus 64. So if the x is less than cam x, another bracket, plus cam width minus 64. Cool. And now if y is greater than cam y plus cam height minus 64. Cool. So we shouldn't be able to create a cursor if we're off screen. So we can create a cursor, we can create a cursor, we can create a cursor. Nothing happens. Awesome. I'm telling you, it works first time every time. I'm also going to check that as well, the exact same thing, before we can move. So I have an idea. I am going to set this on screen equals 0. We are going to have if all this on screen equals 1, else on screen equals 0. Cool. So now, should have that there. I can get rid of all of this nonsense, and it means if on screen equals 1, we can do it. Then I'm also going to set the player movement to do that. So can move is also going to be in here. You know, if can move and on screen equals 1. Cool. We're going to just pop that in there rather than tie on screen to the can move thing, because that would be a hassle. And then, yep. Awesome. Now I should not be able to move while I'm off screen. Cool. You can only turn on the cursor or move while the character is on screen. Brilliant. Brilliant. My genius is remarkable. It's brilliant. Look at how messy and awful my code is. I love this. This is the best feeling ever. Having lots of stuff written down and lots of different colors and lots of nesting, it feels good. I feel powerful. I'm going to delete the draw GUI event. Never need to run it. Plain. Okay. I'm going to add a bunch of extra walls, and now we are going to do... Oh. Cool. I'm just going to draw some stuff in here. Cool. Okay, so I have a very simple way to do the enemy code. Okay. The wish position I'm going to do a while command. While wish pos. Okay, actually, I'm going to have to do something first. First, I have to check every position around me. If can move 1. First, we're going to check every position in a potential movement spot, right? So, check for instance. We check position for instance. Can we do that? Instance position. Can check a position for a collision with another instance or all instances of an object. So, in addition to object instances, the position meeting. Is this a collision thing? It does not check collision. It checks the position. Uses you're checking a single point in the room, for instance. This will check it done against the bounding box of the instance or against the mask of the instance. I don't need it to use the mask or anything. I just need to get the position of it itself. Which I could just use collision, but you know. Object at position. I've been looking at getting for not a function for this. Basically what it is, check it. Okay. I'm going to check a given object's collision mask intersects with that point and you can use position meeting. If you need the ID of the object, no. This guy's just saying instance place or instance position with all the keyword. No. A single point in space, an area point. This guy was specific enough. I get what this guy's saying. No, none of these people have helped. Instance position list. You can check. You're checking, and the check will be done against the bounding box of the instances or against the mask. I don't want bounding box or things. Instance position. Check about instance position. Checking for instance at a specific position. Okay, if there's an object at this instance place. This is going to be another collision check, isn't it? Check it with a collision using the collision mask that runs the code for the check. Well, I don't want the collision mask. Whatever, we're just going to have to do it. There's no function to do it. I'd have to write out stuff myself and sounds like a pain. Okay, cool. Wait, why has someone created an event called Director 7's face reveal in the Discord server? Saturday, October 31st, 4:30. Today's that's today. That's no 2026. Oh, it's in a year's time. It's it's in a year minus 39 minutes. Okay. Good to know. No one will know what my face looks like before then. That's great to see. Okay. So, I'm going to use the object index to find that. Whatever. I can just use instance place. Okay. If instance place object wall. Okay. Oh, wait, okay. Var up. Cool. Now I do. Ooh. Cool. Up. Left. Down and right. Up, left, down, right. Now, first above us, minus 64. To the left, minus 64. Below us, plus 64. And to the right, plus 64. This is going to check. If it can move, it's going to set all these things. So, okay. Wish pause. Up, left, down, right. Okay. I have to think in my brain how I'm going to quickly put this out. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Okay. I need to have... When am I going to do my face reveal? It's going to be in a year's time today. Today in 1 year. My face reveal is going to be... Let me check. You've made the announcement. Saturday, October 31st, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. And right now it's 5:11 p.m. So in in like half an hour less than a year's time is about when I'm going to do the face reveal. Okay. Bit of the next step. Okay. I'm going to make a temporary variable. One more variable. Var collide equals 0. Okay? Now. I need to constantly run this check in an infinite amount of times until we find a position that is free. So, this is the first little bit of code I'm just going to run. I'm going to make some proper AI later, but I'm going to do this. I think we'll just do the cursor and then this AI just so it won't run into a wall. So they will avoid walls is what they're going to do. While wait, actually, I'm just going to do this. Var found equals 0. While found equals 0. Okay. Wish pause picks a spot. Okay. I don't need the collide actually. Now. If wish pause equals wp dot up, have a thing. Cool. Copy that. 1, 2, 3. Up, left, down, right. Awesome. So, imagining this. It's picked a spot above us. We check if the spot above us is free. So if up does not equal 0, wait. up equals 0, underscore found equals 1. Cool. I think that is the entirety of what we need to write, right? That may be it, and I'm just going to think in my head for a second. I'm going to finish writing it down, then I'm going to think if that's actually going to work. Seeing it written out is going to make it easy to comprehend. So, it checks up, right? Variable up equals instance place above us for a wall. All right, it returns, let me check what this returns. This will return an object instance or tile map element ID. Now it should, if it fails to return any information, it should return 0. That's how I believe it's going to work, right? If that's incorrect, if that assumption is incorrect, then it won't work. But it should work that way, and I'm hoping it will. Otherwise, I can fix it. What it's going to do? I'm also going to do show debug. Show debug message up plus comma plus left plus comma plus down plus comma plus right. So that should print out, it'll check this, it'll print a debug message of that, and with like all those positions with commas between them. Okay. What is the trouble here? Error in action 1, step event 0, malformed variable, step 0 line 12. Does it want me to turn these into a string? Malformed variable, abort. I think it should just fix this by turning this into a string. Because I believe you could do that. Oh no, because they're not things anymore. Here we are. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. That's what the trouble is. I see exactly what happened. Now, the game should be frozen. Yep. I could hear my fan turn on while that was... Let's, can I pause it? No, it doesn't matter. And the ref instance -4, -4, -4, -4. Oh. Shut it down. So... it got stuck in the while loop is what happened. So while found is 0, repeatedly run all this code. Wishpos picks one of these. And if up equals 0. So, up is not returning 0. No one. What's no one? Check, and if there is one, it'll reduce. If no collisions are found, no one is returned. Okay. Equals no one. This equals no one. If this equals no one, and if this equals no one, that's it. I didn't know no one's. That's it. Okay. Cool. Now, I'm going to check. So this will crash the game if they have literally 0 places to move, but I mean, that's just a thing that we got to rely on never happening. Why run that check if I know that's never going to happen? Cool. So these guys will never run into a wall. They're just going to move around randomly. Cool. And frankly, I'm a little bit tired. I'm going to leave it at that. That's going to be all. Not everyone's like they have at least one. But yeah, if they have at least one single position they can move where there's no wall, they're fine. They're fine. Right, that's all. So yeah, it's a trouble that's not going to happen, because why build a room where, like, why build a level where they have 0 places to move? All I need, because I always want them to be able to move anyway. There's no time I would want them to not be able to move. So I just need to make sure, rather than make sure that doesn't crash the game, I just need to make sure that that situation never comes up. I should really fix that, but because it crashes the game. But who cares? Who cares? Right. If a bug comes up and somehow they do that, you hear your fan turn on and the game freezes, you know? A little bit funny. A little bit funny, that's all. I'm going to quit the stream, though. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I might work on this a little bit off camera. I'm just a bit tired. I want to go do something else for a bit. Go to the toilet. Maybe eat a little bit. Play a game. I don't know. But I'm going to jump off. I'll see you later. No stream tomorrow. I think I'll be back Sunday instead. I think I'll be back a day after, just because I'm busy like all tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. I love you.